저는 개통 25일로 해드릴게요.
Morning. Current temperature in Los Angeles is at the moment 18 degrees Celsius.